Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Brandon, and welcome back to Marotta Media. So this year's Oscar nominations were announced this morning, and just as I've done every year since I've been doing YouTube, I'm going to be doing a video of me reacting to the nominees and picking who I think the winners will be. And just because I don't want this video to be very long, I'm going to explain one thing first. I will only be reacting and picking the winners for categories that I feel confident enough to make a pick in. I'll be putting the nominations right over here so you can see what I am looking at. So without further ado, let's get right into it. All right, we're starting with actress in a supporting role.
Jessie Buckley in The Lost Daughter.
Oh, wow.
Ariana DeBose in West Side Story.
That's a given.
Judi Dench in Belfast. Kirsten Dunst in Power of the Dog.
Yeah, okay.
And Aunjanue Ellis in King Richard.
Okay. Actress in a supporting role. Some surprises in here. Jessie Buckley for The Lost Daughter and Judi Dench for Belfast. I did not see either of those nominations coming. Judi Dench is a surprise because Katrina Balfe, who was also in Belfast, who played the mom, was far superior in her performance. Like, nothing against Judi Dench, but her performance wasn't Oscar-worthy. But I think this one's pretty easy. She's been sweeping pretty much all of the other award shows. I think this one's going to go to Ariana DeBose.
Cruella.
Okay.
Cyrano.
All right. Haven't seen it.
Dune.
Good choice.
Nightmare Alley.
Okay.
And West Side Story.
Costume design. Those are all really good choices. I did not like Cruella at all. Yeah, I will admit that. I thought that movie was very mediocre. But I think that's the front runner here because it's a movie, about costumes. It's a movie about dress designing. This is exactly what the Academy did a few years ago with Phantom Thread, because in that movie, the main character was a designer, and that won costume design, I believe. So I think that will win. I love the costumes in Dune, but I think they're going to give this one to Cruella, as much as I would love to see Dune win. Sound? All right.
Belfast.
Okay.
Dune.
Yeah, of course, that's a given.
No Time to Die.
Ooh, okay.
The Power of the Dog.
All right.
And West Side Story.
I think this one's also very easy to guess, and I think this one's going to go to Dune. Unbelievable sound, especially if you saw that movie in IMAX. Just incredible sound.
Original score. Don't Look Up.
Okay.
Dune.
Good choice.
Encanto. Parallel Mothers.
Wow.
And The Power of the Dog.
Okay. Parallel Mothers I have not seen. It's just, I don't know, didn't really pique my interest, but these are really good choices. Encanto had a really good score. So did The Power of the Dog. Johnny Greenwood did multiple scores this year. I would have loved to have seen him get a nomination for Spencer because I think that score was magnificent. So it sucks not seeing that here. But another one that I think is pretty easy to guess. I think this is going to go to Dune, Hans Zimmer. Dune score was fantastic.
Coda. Screenplay by Sean Hager. Screen by Ryusuke Hamaguchi
He's
and Taka
cut out a little bit.
Masaoka.
Drive My Car got a nomination. Wow.
Dune. Screenplay by
Good
John
choice.
Spates. Denis Villeneuve.
Denis
And
Villeneuve.
Eric Roth.
The Lost Daughter, written by Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Okay. Good movie.
And The Power of the Dog, written by Jane Campion.
All right. Pretty solid choices here. I would love to see Coda win something. I love Coda. I just rewatched Coda again, and I cried again. It just gets me every time. Beautiful movie, beautifully written. I would love to see that or Dune win this one, but I don't think that it will. I think that this one will go to Power of the Dog.
Belfast, written by Kenneth Branagh.
Okay.
Don't Look Up. Screenplay by Adam McKay. Story by Adam McKay and David Sirota.
King Richard, written by Zach Balin.
All right.
Licorice Pizza, written by Paul Thomas Anderson.
And The Worst Person in the World, written by Eskil Vogt and Joachim Trier.
Oh, wow. The original screenplay category always has at least one surprise in it, and I think that was this year's surprise. I don't think anyone saw that coming. I would have loved to have seen Mass in here. Mass was an unbelievable screenplay, so that would have been a great choice, but I love Licorice Pizza, great screenplay. Don't Look Up doesn't deserve to be nominated for anything. That movie is a hunk of shit. I don't care what anyone says. I think that this one will go to Belfast, because I don't see Belfast winning many other things, so I feel like the Academy will feel obligated to give it at least one award, so yeah. I'll go with Belfast on this one.
Karine Hines in Belfast.
Okay.
Troy Kotzer in Coda. Jesse Plemons in The Power of the Dog.
What?
J.K. Simmons in Being the Ricardos. And Cody Smith-McPhee in Power of the Dog.
J.K. Simmons for Being the Ricardos? Was he even in that movie that long? I haven't seen it. I had no interest in watching Being the Ricardos. It did not look interesting at all, but that's surprising to see him in here. Kieran Hines for Belfast, that's not really a surprise, but just like the supporting actress category, I think that this one is pretty obvious. I think that this one will go to Cody Smith-McPhee for The Power of the Dog. I want Troy Kotzer to win, but I think they'll give it to Smith-McPhee.
Don't Look Up. Dune. King Richard. The Power of the Dog.
Oh.
And Tick Tick Boom.
Oh. They gave Don't Look Up a nomination for Best Editing. That was the worst edited movie all year. And I'm not just saying that because I didn't like the movie. That movie was just legitimately horribly edited. It was terrible. Licorice Pizza not in here. That's kind of a surprise. No Belfast either. Those movies were both edited very well. Tick Tick Boom, that's I'm very happy that's here because that movie was edited very well. Just the therapy scene, the way they intercut the musical sequences with an actual argument was fantastic. So they're going to give this one to Tick Tick Boom. I mean, they should. It's definitely the best one out of all of these, but, you know, what they should do as opposed to what they will do are two completely different things. But I'll go with Tick Tick Boom.
Coming to America.
I forgot that movie even came out.
Dune.
Okay.
The Eyes of Tammy Faye.
All right.
And House of Gucci.
House of Gucci got something. Okay. The makeup in The Eyes of Tammy Faye looked pretty unbelievable in the clips that I did see, but I mean, House of Gucci had good makeup too. I mean, if you didn't know that was Jared Leto, would you have guessed that was Jared Leto if you didn't have a previous knowledge of that movie? But Dune also had great makeup. That one, it was really good. The Baron looked amazing. But just due to the prosthetics on a lot of the characters in Dune, I think that Dune will take this one too. So if Dune wins this much, I will be very happy. And I mean, if he's Encanto, Flea, Luca, Mitchells,
The Mitchells versus the Machine,
and Raya.
and Raya and the Lost Dragon.
Yeah, okay, that one was pretty easy to guess, the nominees. Luca and Raya, did not watch those. Mitchells versus the Machines I loved. That was my favorite animated movie of last year. I did just watch Flea like a week or two ago, and that was a great movie. But yeah, this one's pretty obvious. I mean, they're gonna give it to Encanto. I mean, what else would they give it to?
Be Alive from King Richard.
Dos
Saw that one.
Oruguitas.
Oh.
From Encanto.
Down to Joy from Belfast.
Wow.
No Time to Die from No Time to
Okay.
Die.
And Somehow You Do from 4 Good Days.
Dos Oreguitas from Encanto getting a nomination. That's a great song. It's all in Spanish, and I don't speak Spanish. I took 2.5 years of Spanish, and I don't remember a whole lot, but that is a very beautiful song in a very pivotal moment of that movie that made me choke up. The past 2 Bond movies have taken this category. There was Writing on the Wall from Spectre and Skyfall from Skyfall, and I don't think this is going to be any different. I think this is going to go to No Time to Die. That's such an amazing song, amazing intro in the movie that includes that song.
Ascension,
Okay.
Attica, Flea,
Okay.
Summer of Soul, or When the Revolution Could Not Be Televised, and Riding with Fire.
Happy to see that Flea is on here because Flea is a very unique movie. It's international, it's a documentary, and it's also animated. So I would give it to Flea simply because that's the only one of these that I've seen. But based off context clues and previous wins, yeah, I think this one is going to go to Summer of Soul. Visual effects.
The envelope,
Okay.
please.
The envelope, please, while he has it in his hand. Who's he asking?
Dune. Free Guy.
Okay.
No Time to Die.
Okay.
Shang-Chi and the
Shang-Chi.
Legend of the Ten Rings.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. No
Okay.
Way Home.
I think this is another one that Dune is going to win. And I've noticed in recent years they've swayed more that way. Like movies that contain visual effects where it's not that obvious that they are visual effects. But so I think that immediately counts out Free Guy. That movie is like all CGI. So I think this is another one that Dune is going to win, honestly. I mean, unless they feel obligated to give Spider-Man something. It doesn't deserve it. I think Dune had far superior visual effects, but if Spider-Man won, I wouldn't be shocked, but I'm going to stick with Dune.
Dune.
Good, of course, good choice.
Nightmare Alley.
Oh,
The Power of the Dog.
good choice.
The Tragedy of Macbeth.
Wow.
And West Side Story.
All of these movies are beautiful visually. They all had such amazing camera work. Oh, yeah, this is a really tough one because they're these movies are all beautiful to look at. Nightmare Alley and The Power of the Dog, even though I wasn't high on those movies as other people, they were stunning visually. Call me biased because it was my favorite movie of the year, but I think Dune wins this too. I mean, I could see it going to Macbeth or even West Side Story, but I think Dune was definitely the best looking film of all of these.
Dune.
Okay, good choice.
Nightmare Alley.
Another good choice.
Power of the Dog.
Okay.
Tragedy of Macbeth.
Is it all the same?
And West Side Story.
It is all the same. Again, all of these movies had amazing production design. The sets were just unbelievable to look at. I mean, West Side Story, you recreate New York City in 30s, 1940s. It's definitely one of those two. But when you recreate New York to look like that, I know the Academy is suckers for that. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood won for production design because they did virtually the same thing. But Dune isn't to slouch either. That movie had incredible production design. I would love to see Dune win this, but just based off the track record, I think they'll give this one to West Side Story.
Drive My Car, Japan.
Not a shock.
Flee,
Yep,
Denmark.
not a shock there either.
The Hand of God, Italy.
Not on Netflix.
Luana, A Yak in the Classroom, Bhutan.
Never heard of it.
And The Worst Person in the World, Norway.
Not really anything shocking here. The only shock is that Titan isn't nominated, which I knew was going to happen because that wasn't even on the short list, which was unbelievable to me. I mean, that movie won the Palme d'Or, for God's sakes, and it can't even get on the short list for the Oscars? Like, that's crazy. Yeah, this one's pretty obvious. I think this is going to go to Drive My Car. I still need to see that and The Worst Person in the World. I'm very much looking forward to watching both of them, but...
Javier Bardem in Being the Ricardos.
Fuck.
Benedict Cumberbatch in The Power of the Dog.
Alright.
Andrew Garfield in Tick, Tick, Boom.
Great choice.
Will Smith in King Richard.
Of course.
And Denzel Washington in The Tragedy of Macbeth.
Oh, this is a pretty strong category too. Like I said, have not seen Being the Ricardos. No interest. Benedict Cumberbatch was fantastic in The Power of the Dog, as much as I did not care for that movie. Andrew Garfield, one of the best performances of his career, in my opinion, in Tick, Tick, Boom. Will Smith disappeared in King Richard, and Denzel was remarkable in The Tragedy of Macbeth. So this is another really tough one. But if I had to narrow it down, I think it's between Andrew Garfield and Will Smith. Will Smith is kind of overdue for an Oscar, but now that I think about it, Andrew Garfield is too. But right now, gun to my head, if I had to choose between those two guys, I think I would go with Will Smith. Yeah, I'll go with Will Smith for actor, but that is subject to change.
Jessica Chastain in The Eyes of Tammy Faye.
Olivia Colman in The Lost Daughter.
Can't go wrong with her.
Penelope Cruz in Parallel Mothers.
Wow.
Nicole Kidman in Being the Ricardos.
Of course.
And Kristen Stewart.
There we go.
Spencer.
Kristen Stewart. That's the big one right there. That's who deserved this nomination, and that is who deserves to win it. She absolutely deserves to win it. Jessica Chastain, I could see her winning it too, because she definitely disappeared into that role as Tammy Faye. I'm going to go out on a limb. I believe Kristen Stewart should win it, and you know what? Fuck it. I think she will win it. Kristen Stewart will win Best Actress. I'm calling it right now. I hope to God that I'm right.
Kenneth Branagh, Belfast.
Of course.
Ryusuke Hamaguchi, Drive My Car.
Whoa.
Paul Thomas Anderson, Licorice Pizza.
Okay, good choice.
Jane Campion, The Power of the Dog.
Okay, yeah.
And Steven Spielberg, West Side Story.
And finally, the big one.
No, dude, they snubbed Denis Villeneuve for Dune. Oh, no. That really sucks. I mean, even if he was nominated, I don't think he would have won it, but he should have been nominated for this. That's crazy that he was not. I love Licorice Pizza, and I love seeing Steven Spielberg get another nomination in his career for West Side Story. He absolutely deserves it. Kenneth Branagh did a great job too, but honestly, I think this one is going to go to Jane Campion for The Power of the Dog. While I was not particularly fond of that movie, it was so immaculately made that I cannot say that it was a bad movie. It just wasn't for me. But Jane Campion did a tremendous job directing it, and I think that this will go to her.
Belfast.
Coda, Philippe Rousselet.
I like how I've applauded for every time
and
Coda has
Patrick
gotten nominated for something.
Roxburgher.
Producers,
Don't Look Up, Adam McKay and Kevin Messick.
fucking
Producers.
kill me.
Drive My Car.
Wow, there it is.
Hisa Yamamoto, producer.
Dune.
King Richard.
Of course.
Tim White.
Licorice Pizza.
Okay.
Sarah Murphy.
Nightmare Alley.
What?
Guillermo del Toro.
Oh, all right.
The
I
Power of
guess.
the Dog.
Of course.
Jane Campion.
And West Side Story. Steven Spielberg.
Okay. Well, right off the bat, they nominated 10 movies, and I'm glad they did that. I mean, every year, everyone always says, like, the Academy can nominate up to 10 movies, and they never nominate 10 movies, but they finally did, so that's nice. So many great movies in here, all on my top 10. West Side Story, Licorice Pizza, Dune, Coda were 4 of my 10 favorite movies of last year, all fantastic. Belfast and King Richard were also in my favorite movies of the year, but those were not in my top 10. Nightmare Alley I watched recently, and I thought it was alright. Same with Power of the Dog, but like I said, not for me. Perfectly understand the appeal. Have not seen Drive My Car, and Don't Look Up can go die in a ditch for all I care. That movie is garbage. Unlike previous years, I've had trouble choosing who I think will win Best Picture. But this year, I think it's pretty obvious. As of right now, I believe that the front runner is far and away The Power of the Dog. A lot of people seem to love it. I didn't. I've said that a million times up until this point, but it's so well made that I cannot say that it is a bad movie. It's a great movie, but it's just not my kind of movie. I've never really been a fan of Westerns. So as of right now, I'm going to go with Power of the Dog for Best Picture. Like I said, it could change, but that's my lock. That's my lock for Best Picture is Power of the Dog. All right, so those were my predictions for the Oscars this year, and now I think I'll go over some snubs that I thought of and some surprises as well. Easily the biggest snub is Denis Villeneuve for director. Like, that's blasphemous. I can't believe that he didn't get nominated for that. Best actress, I thought Alana Haim was a lock for Licorice Pizza. I would have loved to have seen her get nominated for that. And while it was a long shot, I also was kind of hoping to see Rachel Zegler in there too for West Side Story. Katrina Balfe for supporting actress getting snubbed, and her co-star Judi Dench getting in over her. That was a little strange because I thought her performance, Katrina Balfe's performance I should say, was so much better than Judi Dench's. Supporting actor, I would have loved to have seen Bradley Cooper for Licorice Pizza. I mean, he wasn't in it much, but he stole the show when he was in it. And I mean, the aforementioned Judi Dench won Best Supporting Actress when she had like maybe 8 minutes of screen time for Shakespeare in Love, so it is possible. Best Original Song, I would have loved to have seen Beyond the Shore from Coda get a nomination. That's such a beautiful song, and every time I listen to it, I just think about the movie, and like I said, that movie has made me cry both times I've watched it, so the song makes me tear up a little bit. And even though I did not like Don't Look Up at all, the song in it, Just Look Up, I actually really enjoy. Ariana Grande has an incredible voice, and Kid Cudi is my favorite rapper, so I guess I kind of have a soft spot for him. The French Dispatch did not get anything. That's surprising. I thought that would at least get maybe production design or maybe cinematography, but it got nothing, so that's really surprising. Spencer not being nominated for score, but Johnny Greenwood got his nomination because he also did the score for The Power of the Dog. While I thought the score for Spencer was much better, I am happy that he got something because I believe he also did the score for Licorice Pizza too, so the guy had a busy year. Mass also did not get anything. I think that should have been the surprise in original screenplay. And I also wouldn't have been mad if that got any acting nominations, because Reed Birney, I would have loved if Reed Birney, Martha Plimpton, Ann Dowd, or Jason Isaacs got nominations. I think they probably all would have been in supporting, since none of them was really the lead. This is another long shot, but I also would have loved to have seen Nicolas Cage get a Best Actor nod for Pig. And I think the last thing that comes to mind is Don't Look Up being nominated for Best Editing. That's an absolute joke. Weird stock footage that they just throw in and the screenshots of what's happening. The editing is so jumbled. It's just a mess. But I think that's all I had in terms of snubs and surprises after watching the nominations. So I think that's where I'll end this one. Guys, thank you so much for watching my reaction to the 2022 Oscar nominations. Do you guys agree with the nominations? If not, what do you think should have been nominated for what category? Or hell, what did you think should have been nominated for Best Picture that wasn't in there? If you guys like this review, then be sure to hit that thumbs up and do not forget to subscribe. I've been posting some more reviews lately, so if you guys want to see those, then I'll link those right over here. Other than that, hope you all have a tremendous rest of your day, and I will see you all in the month at the Oscars.